Hey everybody, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today we're back at it again with Sunder. Today this is map 7, Hollow Icon. This is a very challenging map because it's one of the first maps in Sunder where you're fighting literally hundreds and hundreds of enemies at one time. Sometimes upwards of 1,000 in one fight. It gets pretty crazy and it's very overwhelming. It's basically what Doom players classify as slaughter maps, and yeah, if you're not used to this sort of play style with hundreds and hundreds of enemies at once, it requires quite a bit of practice, quite a bit of different strategies compared to some of the earlier maps of Sunder in particular. And yeah, it's still one of my favorite maps in Sunder. I've been playing Sunder for a long time now, and it's still the one I probably go back to the most, just because it is just kind of a series of really big fights, and you know, it's fun just herding the enemies around, getting a lot of infighting going, using a lot of the BFG, which wasn't really all that prevalent prior to this map, and yeah, it's just a good time. So it's one that I like to go through quite frequently, actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to play through this entire map from start to finish. It's possible I might end up dying quite a bit, but we will be quick saving along the way as well, so we don't have to repeat too much progress as we do die. We probably will die, but I'm going to try my best not to die, but we'll see what happens here. So yeah, as I go through this, I'll talk about my strategies and stuff like that over the course of this playthrough. So you start off in this little room here. You can get some items and whatnot, including a backpack. But once you open up this door, you're pretty much good to go with enemies. Just enemies are staring you right in the face here. So we've got a lot of imps over here. But what I'm going to do is run down here, trigger these revenants, and then run right back up the stairs, and then try to take these guys out one by one. So I'm going to let them just kind of mosey along up these stairs if they decide they want to. Sometimes the enemies will kind of get stuck on the bottom corner because of how enemies sort of track and home into you in Doom. Basically in Doom, anywhere you are in the map, enemies will just be constantly trying to push forward directly towards your position. And so sometimes, you know, if you're higher up, they'll get stuck in little corners and whatnot. And that's exactly what happened down below. But it's not a big deal. I can just take these guys out one by one, slowly but surely. And look, there's a little bit of infighting going on right now. That Mancubus went ahead and took out that Revenant for me, which is actually really good. So let's go ahead and get rid of this one right here. Trying to stay towards the back wall so those Revenant rockets slam into the walls. Remember, Revenant rockets can home in on you, and they can be very, very dangerous. I'm gonna go ahead and just sit behind this wall right here. Now, one thing I can do is just let the imps hit the Mancubi, and then let the Mancubi turn around and kill some of the imps for me. But a lot of times I just go ahead and try to take them out on my own, and just play it nice and slow here, nice and safe. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll end up just blitzing around the arena, but honestly that just can get you killed. You can just sit here in this safe spot, just watch out for those imps, and then take these guys out one by one. You're not in a rush in Sunder unless you're speedrunning. I am not speedrunning. I'm not doing a UV Max demo here without dying. I'm just trying to get through the level to show you guys what it's all about and to give you some strategies in case you decide to try it yourself. So you do have a rocket launcher back here, so what we want to do is pick that up, and I'm going to go ahead and use that on some of these imps. Rockets are insanely good for taking out groups of imps. The blast radius of its splash damage is just very, very good. And so I'll use some rockets just to clear out some of these guys quickly, and then I'll use the super shotgun for the rest of the imps. There are quite a few shotgun shells over the course of this map, as well as several rockets, but rockets are less abundant than shells, at least relatively speaking, compared to, you know, how much I'm going to use those weapons. I value the rockets for later fights, so I kind of want to save the ammo, even later on this fight, you know. So let's go ahead and start a save file here. And because I'm using GZ Doom with tons of save files, it might take a little while for the menu to pop up here, but it actually popped up pretty snappy this time. This save file is actually a practice run from the other day, and a failed recorded Let's Play attempt. So we're going to try this again. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to basically trip an invisible line, and then this whole wall section right here is going to drop with Revenants and Hell Knights. So what I want to do is just kind of run through here, and then take out some Arch Vials right there. That's my first priority, is getting rid of those Arch Vials. And then we have to watch out for Revenant rockets, because again, oof, just like that, they home in on you and they do tons and tons of damage. Now, one thing that's kind of fun here is you can sometimes get some of the Hell Knights to get some infighting going with the Revenants. And so we'll see if we can get any of that going. And it looks like one Hell Knight hit one Revenant, so there's a couple of them duking it out. And we go ahead and just kind of keep this up, basically. Just for a little bit, just to save some ammo. So one of the great things about Doom is the monster infighting, and if you are really good with getting infighting going, you can actually save yourself a lot of ammunition over the course of a map. Or full playthrough, depending on, you know, the type of WoD that you're playing. For stuff like Sunder, I always do pistol starts, so I always start these maps from basically from scratch, whereas other Doom WoDs I'll just play continuously, taking my weapons from one level to the next. And what I'm going to do is actually make another save here, just in case I happen to blow myself up. But this isn't really working out too well, so I'm going to go ahead and just come down here and actually attack some of these guys. Kind of like so, and... ooh, I didn't see that rocket, but that's okay. Yeah, when you fight swarms of Revenants, you're ultimately going to run into scenarios where some rocket's going to catch you off guard completely. I'm going to come back up here just to avoid these rockets. And if I wanted to, I can bust out my pistol. If you don't hold down the button, your shots will be 100% accurate all the way across the arena. Now, there is actually a chain gun over there as well. And there we go, we actually just killed one of those Revenants. That was mainly just to show that off. It wasn't really an effective strategy. Let's go ahead and just get rid of these last couple of guys. Ooh, just like so. Took a rocket to the face, but fortunately it didn't do a lot of damage. Revenant rockets can do a lot of damage, and damage scaling in Doom is dependent on a bunch of different factors. And so Revenant rockets can do anywhere from probably 20% damage to 80%, maybe even more. I don't know the exact numbers. Other Doom players will. But let's just say it could be a lot of damage. And so what I want to do here is actually grab this armor and then work on getting this plasma gun right here. And notice that I kind of moved into a very specific direction to try to herd the enemies a specific way. And unfortunately I failed. And one of my problems is coming into this arena with such little health. But let's go ahead and try that again. So just kind of squeeze through like that. Get our weapon. And then sort of just circle strafe. Kind of herd them around the arena. I do not want to get cornered. Getting cornered is how you die really, really fast here. And that was my problem with the previous attempt. Getting rid of the Revenants is priority number one as well, because they're the most dangerous enemies in situations like these. And then I can just use my super shotgun on the Barons and the Hell Knights. And into this room, so we're going to go ahead and grab some health right here and some rockets, and this is a supercharge or a soul sphere, depending on you know, what source you're reading. Technically it's both, but let's go ahead and save our game again. Once we come up here, these walls are going to come down, revealing lots of Revenants and whatnot. I want to start the fight out with some rockets, and then I want to quickly switch over to the plasma gun, because you have a lot of lost souls here, and with lost souls, they're just going to get right in your face, and you're going to blow yourself up, which is not fun. Same with the Cacodemons, you don't want to blow yourself up with rockets going into Cacodemons that are right in your face. Now, I don't really bother, ouch, getting infighting going here. I just go ahead and just go all out with my plasma gun, just like so. Get rid of the Revenants, because they're very dangerous. And back to the super shotgun. Now, I would definitely argue this is where Sunder starts to get really intense. Now, it got really intense with maps 5 and 6 in particular. But map 7 just has a bunch of fights that are very tricky if you're new to it. So let's go ahead and flip this switch. I don't bother with the Barons up there. If you're going for a 100% max run, then obviously you want to kill them, but I don't really bother with them. What I'm going to do here is loop around, hit this switch, and then run past all these enemies right here. And one little trick I can do is actually come over here and potentially trigger some infighting. Remember, the enemies will just kind of herd into the direction that you are. So if I'm over here, they're working towards where I am position-wise on the map here. And let's see if we can zoom in on the map. So I can actually hear them on the other side of this wall trying to, you know, attack. So I can probably get them near this window here and probably get some Barons attacking them. See? And then this will make life easier on me. This is where all that clever infighting comes into play, and this is not going to be the only time we're going to do this on this map. There are a couple of moments on this map where you can instigate infighting, and it's just fantastic. It makes life so much easier. So you can hear enemies clawing at each other, so you know enemies are doing damage. And all this is going to do for me is just conserve ammo. It's going to make my life easier. Now, it is definitely a little more time-consuming, unfortunately, but it is still fun. Let me go ahead and come on up here so I can get sort of an even, you know, get on an even level with these guys and just shoot them through the wall or the grating. Just taking my time here. This isn't exactly pro-level strats, but it's safe strats, and that's what a lot of people need to get through, you know, WODs like these. They need the safe strats to sort of understand how you can get through something like this. When I first saw this, I thought this was impossible. I thought there was no way to beat maps like this. And I think the first time I played this map in particular, it took me like 6 hours to get through it, my first try. It was bonkers. But, you know, as I've gone back to it and I played it more and more, I've learned different strats, I've learned safer strats, and I can get through it very, you know, fairly consistently now because of these strategies. And so hopefully some of you guys playing this for the first time, or maybe people that have played it before but, you know, maybe aren't that great at it, you can watch a video like this and have some of the strategies explained to you, and then you can get through it yourself more consistently. So there's going to be a Berserk pack on the right here. I don't really need it. I'm going to save it for the end of this fight in case I take a hit. But we have some Barons, we have some Cyber Demons, and what I want to do is instigate a little bit of infighting with these guys. So you'll notice that the Barons are attacking the Cybers, and what I want to do is keep attacking the Cybers as the Barons are attacking them as well to sort of do maximum damage. And hopefully avoid their rockets at the same time. So the Barons are kind of pissed off at the Cybers right now, and that's good. Cybers are still pissed off at me, which means I have to keep moving. There are some very tight little corridors or, you know, areas to move in this section, like going through this little, you know, cubby right there. So you have to be really on point with your movement on this section. And let's go ahead and switch over to our plasma gun. All the Cybers are dead. Might as well use my plasma. Oh, and that was bad on my part. I tried to do like a 180, you know, in the middle of the my movement, which was just a really bad idea. Let's go ahead and just get that infighting going again. Cyber Demons always shoot rockets out in groups of 3, and so, you know, even if there aren't any enemies right in front of them, you can move the, you know, you can move around the arena, and the Cybers will just stay locked onto you, and you can get it to where, you know, they'll turn into the direction of some of the enemies, the Barons. Now, unfortunately, they've killed all the Barons already. Barons usually take about 5 or 6 rockets to take down. So, you know, I highly doubt they did much damage to the Cybers, but it's okay. I'll just go ahead and keep using my plasma gun here. It does very rapid damage, and there's a lot of ammo on the floor here. So just take things kind of slow. Don't let the Cybers, you know, corner you, or don't let them get in your way as you're trying to, you know, go through these tiny little hallways. He's probably almost dead. He's gotta be almost dead. There he is. He's dead. Very good. Alright, and I'm gonna actually go ahead and just use my super shotgun for the rest of this. Because I want to have maximum cells when I go into the next arena. There we go. Good stuff. Alright, and this is why I say the Berserk pack. So now I've got full health. No armor, but I will get some armor on the next section. And we're almost maxed out on ammo, or the ammo that counts. So cells and rockets, and then shells. The bullets don't really have much of a purpose on this map. So yeah, we've got a bunch of different things here. We've got blue armor down here, actually, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that because I just don't have it, and it's definitely going to come in handy on this section. Rockets everywhere. We've got shells in this little corner here. We've got all these revenants up top. I'm not going to try to kill them right now. We also have sort of a compartment here with lots of ammunition. We're going to see a lot of cyber demons, and the cyber demons can walk through here. You'll notice the ceiling is high enough for a cyber demon. So even if you come down here in safety, the cybers can actually, you know, hunt you through those hallways. So, but yeah, we're pretty much good to go on ammunition. What I want to do is take out an Archvile right away. Now, this is kind of a crapshoot, but you really need to get rid of this Archvile, otherwise he just becomes very problematic. And he is up here with these barons. Let's see if we can get it. Now, unfortunately, there are a lot of pinky demons. Oh! And I got nailed by the Archvile Blast. I blew myself up with a rocket on a pinky, and I think a cyber rocket hit me all at the same time, and that's why I died pretty much instantly. So let's go ahead and try that again. Especially if you're just learning this type of map for the first time, do not be ashamed to quick save or just save constantly in this game. You're really gonna need the help. Trust me on that. And again, I want to try to get rid of this Archvile up top, but easier said than done sometimes. So, and I took a hit from him. I'm going to go ahead and actually grab this BFG right here. This is what you can do. There we go, we got him. Grabbing that BFG is what you can do. Once you've herded the enemies out a little bit. And so what I'm going to do now is use the BFG on this part. Otherwise, this is a really tough little section. It's very difficult to do with just rockets, so doing it with BFGs, or with the BFG, is much safer. Notice that I switched off the BFG, because I don't really need to use it now. I'm not cornered by the enemies. I can use my shotgun, or I can switch over to the rocket launcher. And in case I have to BFG my way through another large group, I've got 4 uses. So the BFG uses 40 cells, and I can use it 4 times, which is usually enough to get you out of a really tight situation. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is, because I picked up the BFG, I triggered a bunch of Archviles, and what I want them to do is come this way, along with the Cyber Demons. And, you know, this is another moment where you can just huddle back and let the monsters do a lot of the fighting for you. The Cyber Demons in particular. Those Revenants I was talking about in the back, they're going to be shooting rockets this way. The rockets are going to hit the Cyber Demons in the back or the head. The Cybers are going to turn around and they're going to shoot the Revenants. And it's basically the same with the other projectile-based enemies. So you notice that the Barons are facing the other way, attacking other enemies, and we're just going to go ahead and let them duke it out. I'm going to save it in the meantime, just in case I die. Now, you do have to be careful here, because once the vials come up in your view, they can actually sort of see you through these gaps in this gate. So you have to watch out for the, you know, the Archvile targeting. Also, cyber rockets and other enemy projectiles, but mostly cyber rockets, can fit through these gaps as well. So you still have to be on point. You can't just kind of sit back, you know, in the open like this. You do have to be on the constant move. And so even if the Cybers take out all these Barons for me and whatnot, I want them to turn around and take out the Revenants for me. So staying up here like this is actually good. I can let the Revenants shoot out this way, and hopefully some of their rockets will hit these Cybers for me. And look at that, one of those rockets just went through the gate, went through the gap in the gate. And you can see some Revenant rockets coming this way. Boom! Cyber turned around because he got hit by a Revenant rocket. Monster infighting like this is really fun for me because it requires a little more brain power than your typical Doom level. You know, you have to analyze the different types of scenarios you can, you know, sort of bait the enemies into. And in this scenario right here, I'm intentionally letting the Revenant rockets hit the Cybers, so they turn around and they do the attacking for me. It's extremely good. And what's great about the Revenant rockets is they do damage to enemies as well, obviously, so some of those rockets killed those Hell Knights for me. Now, it's time-consuming, but it's just one of your many options playing through maps like this. Now, this strategy makes your life a lot easier in the long run. If you don't play like this, and especially if you're not really that good in combination with doing infighting as well as using more ammo than you should be, you might actually end up running out of ammo and making some of these fights a lot more difficult than they need to be. Look at that. The Revenant count has, you know, dropped significantly. There's still quite a few over there, so I'm going to go ahead and just let, you know, these guys destroy each other as long as I can. And it's actually really good because, you know, they're destroying the cybers for me. And the cybers are, you know, they're going to eat up the most of your ammo. So if I can, you know, have the cybers get destroyed, then that's just win-win if you ask me. Alright, come on, Revenants. Again, the process can be a little slow. There we go. Is he going for the Revenants? Yep, he's going for the Revenants. Look at that. Now, the Revenant rockets can go through the gap, too, so you still have to be careful. Ow. Took a little bit of splash damage there. Boom, and he's gone. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back over to the BFG, because I have a feeling one of the Archviles might still be alive, resurrecting enemies. So what I'm going to do is come on over here, hit this switch, and then just kind of book it down here. And basically look for any Archviles first and foremost. And it looks like there are none. All the Archviles look to have been killed by the Cyber Demons. And I don't really care about taking too much damage here because there's a Megasphere that I did not pick up earlier. So I'm going to be able to go into the next arena with full health and full armor, which is actually going to make my life a good bit easier. Usually I ended up going into that fight with less health than that. Less health and armor. But now I can just take my time, get rid of these guys slowly but surely. Still some Revenants up top, so I would like to take them out because Revenant rockets are always a bit of a pain. Now I did get the blue key, which unlocks the blue door up here, so I can actually kill some Revenants like this if I wanted to. A little bit easier to take them head on like that as opposed to sniping them from down below while you've got a bunch of you know, Barons and Hell Knights on your butt. So I don't want to pick up that Megasphere yet. I mainly just want to go around the arena, grab some basic health pickups, you know, some med kits. Now you'll notice that the frame rate is getting a little choppy here and there, and that's because Sunder, especially when run in GZ Doom, is very, very, very demanding on these bigger maps, and it just gets worse and worse as Sunder goes on, as the maps get bigger and bigger and bigger. It really helps, if you're going to use GZ Doom anyway, to have a very beefy system. This system I'm running to record this gameplay, or at least play the game. I'm running it into my main recording and stream PC. Is an old AMD FX based system. A higher end FX, but it's still not a great CPU. And, you know, it kind of struggles with Sunder and some other really, really big, intricate Doomwad maps. Like some of the later maps in Sunlust, for instance. They run really poor on this system. You can use different source ports to get better, you know, better performance, like PR Boom Plus. I usually cope with the poorer frame rate in GZ Doom because I like GZ Doom's quality of life features, you know, its save management system and, you know, graphic options and things like that. So, but if you are wondering about the frame rate, that's why. We are also playing the game at 1080p, so on this system I should probably be running the game at 720p or something like that, but we're doing it at 1080p. So let me make sure I've got all my shells. I think there are some over here. Yep. I usually try not to pick these up, because then I can just leave them there and grab them on the way out. So let's go ahead and grab this Megasphere. And I actually have to go through this door and flip a switch. And if for some reason you ran out of cells, if you didn't utilize all your cells in this previous room, it is possible to come back here and pick them up. But I'm not going to be doing that. So now we can flip this switch and it opens up our next fight. So we're actually at our second to last fight already. That's how big the fights are. Now notice that we've already killed 700 enemies. So that means there are 2,300 enemies in these last two fights combined. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier with just the huge, huge fights. So this arena is kind of interesting. It's a really large arena. You can sort of cut through this area, but there are hordes and hordes of enemies hiding behind these walls. There's a cubby over here the enemies you know, flood out of. There's a whole upper area here above those stairs where you've got cyber demons, lots of mancubi, and then you've got more hordes of enemies that pop out of here, along with the cubby right here. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. My first point of contention, though, is up here. This wall reveals lots of revenants up top, so my goal is to take out the revenants first. And you'll notice that there's a megasphere here. Because I did so well in the previous fight, I got to use its megasphere as the introduction to this fight. And so now I can come up here and trigger the fight, but leave the megasphere there for later, because I am going to need it. Because this is a very tough fight. So again, point of contention is the revenants, but I also have to watch out for the mancubi behind me. Just like so. And what I want to do is come back this way, get some health. And this is actually kind of not really what I want to be doing. I wanted to circle around behind the imps, but we're not going to be able to do that. Now there are some cells right here, so I can come here, work my way back out, just like so. Cyber demon is cyber demon. That was a bad choice going in that direction. But what I wanted to do is loop back around this way behind the imps and do that just to take out a lot of imps. So let's go ahead and try that again. Again, revenants, it's my first priority. And you kind of need to stay in motion here because there are so many projectile-based enemies. You're just not going to have much luck here if you stay still for, you know, any given moment, any given amount of time. But I'm just looping back around just like so. Alright, more cells in the back over here. Switch back over to my BFG. I switched off because my ammo got so low with it. There are also some more cells right here. And then there's some health at the other end of the arena right here. So now I've kind of herded all the enemies into a specific direction, which is good. So I can go ahead and start taking things a little bit slower. Let's go ahead and just get rid of this Baron. Grab those cells. I'm going to come back down here like so. Just keep moving around in circles now. Let the enemies do some infighting. Now, it's tricky when you get just a bunch of Mancubus in one corner of the arena, because lots of Mancubi shooting lots of projectiles at the same time is very, very dangerous. It's a recipe for death. Death and destruction, but the bad kind. The kind where you die as a player. And that's never any fun. Not, well, sometimes it's gonna be fun. Like, look at that. I do not want to be sitting over there right now. There's a little bit of infighting going on right now. Gonna go ahead and just use some rockets for a little bit. I'm only gonna use my cells if I really need to. Kinda like for taking out big groups of Mancubus. Mancubus, Mancubi. And then switch back over to rockets for these slower paced enemies. Don't mind me if I can't talk right now. I'm super tired. It's been a long work day, and I'm doing this Let's Play after working a 12-hour shift. And again, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep doing the same thing. I'm relatively safe right now. I'm so safe to the point where, like, I feel like I could go ahead and quick save without feeling bad about it. Like, it's not a major crutch at this point. But, you know, every time I say that, I end up getting myself killed, you know, with a rocket or something like that. One thing you have to worry about on this section is that there are lost souls, and the lost souls have a tendency of just flying right in your face. You know, without you really even noticing until it's too late. Now, there should be some more rockets down here. I can go ahead and grab some of those. It's 25 rockets. There's some more health right there. There are also rockets around the corner there, but because of, you know, where all the enemies are huddled up right now, I don't really want to loop around that corner. That corner where the Revenants were and where a bunch of cells were as well. So just taking out these enemies, just very slowly, taking my time. I'm not rushing through it. Oof, I wasn't paying attention there. That was bad. I can also use my plasma shots if I want, since they do go all the way across the screen. But now that a lot of these enemies are gone, I can probably grab these rockets, just like so. Go ahead and use my super shotgun for some of these guys. Alright, get some infighting going, that's good. Go ahead and just let those guys duke it out. I'm not even going to touch them. I'm going to kill some of these guys on this end, though, just to clear things out. You know, with Doom, it's very natural to just play very fast. But it is also very good, especially in maps like these, to take your time at specific moments. Don't rush through them. You know, if you're constantly circle strafing at full speed, you're going to end up slamming into stuff that you don't want to slam into. So it's really good to just slow down, you know, slow down the pace of the fight intentionally. You know, turn around and look and see what's around here. So I know there's a Mancubus right there. You know, it's first-person shooting 101, basically. You don't want to always be blazing around at light speed. Even though, you know, there is definitely, you know, skill to be used at running around at light speed. It's not an all or nothing thing. You need to be able to implement both fast and slow strategies for maximal survival. Good play has always been about multiple strategies, not just blazing through something without really thinking about your situations. Alright. I'm going to avoid quick saving. Technically, as someone mentioned on a recent Quake long play of mine, it's not really quick saving, I'm just making a save file. But I do it so fast, it's like quick saving. There we go, he's dead, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use some rockets here. Now, unfortunately, there's no way for me to get back to a previous arena, so all the rockets that we had there are pretty much just gone behind us. And I could use my BFG, but I'd rather conserve the ammo because the next fight is by far the hardest in the entire map. Switch back over to my shotgun. So now there are actually a bunch of switches that we have to hit as well. Let's go ahead and use my my chain gun. Might as well use that ammo. It'll do a little bit better of a job than the super shotgun from this angle. And let's go ahead and try to get rid of these guys. I'm trying to be safe here because I haven't saved it yet. And I'd like to not die if I can avoid it. Because if I do die, it means we have to do the entire fight over again. And I think that's pretty much everyone. So we go ahead and come on up here. I grab that Megasphere because now I can use it, and I'm going to be able to go into this next fight with full health and full armor. And there's going to be another Megasphere in that fight. So yeah, the switches actually open up doors in these little cubbies with other switches. And so this one opens up another switch over this way. And let me actually come over here because there are some shotgun shells. And actually, I've already got my shotgun shells. Let me make sure I didn't miss any boxes of rockets as well. There's usually a couple around here. There's one right here. And we already got the one down there. And there's not one back there. And we flip this switch, just like so. There's a box of bullets. Another box of bullets. And I think that's it in terms of rockets. I think I'm pretty much just... that's all the ammo I can grab here. No more bullets, no more cells. And it's always good, you know, if you're not rushing through this, if you're not speedrunning, and you can take your time, you can, you know, comb back through the various areas and go ahead and stock up on things that you need to be stocked up on. I'm gonna go ahead and leave these cells here. I am going to pick up maybe 2 of these right here. I don't want to pick up all of them because there's going to be a huge fight here. Remember, we still have 1,600 enemies left. It's all in this room. It gets nuts. And this is what sold me on Sunder when I first played it. I saw this room. I saw a Twitch streamer playing this, and I was just blown away. It was the first time I had ever seen anything like that. But yeah, I'm trying to space out the ammo because enemies are going to be coming at me from all sides, and I'm going to be in the middle here running out of cells, and so I want a quick pickup there. Same with the cells back here. I want to go ahead and grab those. I don't want that Megasphere though, so what I'm going to do is, I used to do a strategy where I flip the switch and I try to deal with this room first. It's basically 2 mega rooms pop up with teleporters that let you teleport between the two. And then you've got smaller rooms that open up, like on both those ends right there. But I'm not going to do that. I have a new strategy now where I go to the other side of the arena and I start just blasting enemies as they come from this side. And then I'll BFG my way through and start using the teleporters to go back and forth. So that's going to be the goal. And I'm going to go ahead and just basically use my rockets. So I'm going to go ahead and kill some of these imps. But again, I'm going to come down here and focus on these guys. And one good strategy to do is actually to go inside this cubby right here. It's actually fairly safe for the most part. You just have to watch out for the enemies that come from the stairs up there. So we're gonna go ahead and just milk these enemies as much as we can from this nice little relatively safe cubby, assuming guys don't come at me from behind. And again, you can already see Lost Souls coming my way. There are lots of Pain Elementals, and what's good about doing this strategy, coming to this side, is that we lure the Pain Elementals out. And they're the most problematic enemy type on this section. So now I'm going to start BFGing my way through. And as you saw, I picked up some of that ammo. Let the Cybers do their thing, and now I can come over here and look at this! I've lured everybody out. And now I can focus on taking out these Pain Elementals from behind. I can take out these Arachotrons. The Arachotrons are very dangerous. Get some cells if I can, and hopefully don't get hit by a Cyber. It gets very stressful. This gets very, very stressful. Let's go ahead and go back to the other side. And go ahead and take out some enemies from this side. And sometimes what I do is I actually try to get rid of some of these Cyber Demons, because Cybers are just extremely dangerous enemies in general. And I'm going to go ahead and grab that, that Megasphere to get my health back up, get my armor back up. Ooh, like, look at all those Cybers down there. That was rough. I actually got hit by something hard. Probably a Cyber rocket. And now we want to try to get rid of the Pain Elementals. Notice I'm not using rockets, and it's because of all of the Lost Souls in here. Now, thankfully, I have the Lost Souls limit turned on, and that's a standard vanilla Doom feature. Some people disable. And I don't recommend disabling that in a map like this. You'll have 1,000 Lost Souls, and this section becomes insanely difficult. I mean, it's already insanely difficult as is, but it becomes ridiculously difficult. I'm gonna go ahead and go back through this teleporter. And again, I'm just gonna take my time focusing on the Pain Elementals now. I could try to focus on the Cybers as well. But it's good leaving some Cybers up, because you notice that there's a whole swarm of Revenants on the upper platform in the back. And if I can get some of those rockets to hit the Cybers for me, then the Cybers will start taking out those Revenants for me. And as you can see, Revenant rockets are going out there. You can see Cyber rockets going up there as well. Gonna go back through this teleporter. Now, there are 2 switches we have to hit, but I'm not gonna really worry about those switches right now. My focus is getting rid of these enemies. Now, I don't have any cells, unfortunately. There aren't. There actually might be one more box of cells in one of those corners, but there's too many Cybers down below, and I don't really want to mess around with them. Oh, there's some cells right here, which is good. We have to watch out for stray rockets, which is very common on this section. I've got 4 more uses on my BFG. Oh, this is bad. That's bad. That's bad. I always forget about the dip in the middle there. That dip is actually, you can't get back up it from the sides. You have to actually go all the way up a staircase at one of the far ends. So that was risky. Very, very risky. I just want to stay in constant motion here because now I've got Revenant rockets chasing after me, and I obviously don't want to mess around with those. Now, one thing I do have disabled is Infinite Height. So Doom normally has what's called Infinite Height, where basically enemies sort of have an invisible wall going above and below them, so you can't go under enemies or you can't go over enemies. Now, on a map like this or a WOD like this, like Sunder, I recommend turning Infinite Height off, because you're just gonna get stuck randomly on Lost Souls that are way above you. Same with Pain Elementals. In later Sunder maps, you've got Cacodemon swarms, which are insanely difficult to deal with when you can't actually see them. So that is one traditional vanilla feature I do recommend disabling if you're going to play something like this. Now, one problem with using GZ Doom is that the knockback physics for enemies with rockets and whatnot is very different from stock vanilla. And so sometimes you'll hit an enemy with a rocket and they will get sent all the way back to the other side of the arena, and if there's no wall in the arena, it's going to take them forever to actually come back. Now, these Cybers are not really doing much with these Revenants right now, which is kind of unfortunate. But if I can get some Revenant rockets going this way, maybe I can get them to turn around. And it's not looking like it so far. I'm gonna go ahead and just start shooting rockets like this then, and they're gonna go all the way across the arena, and they're going to destroy the Revenants for me. Now, it looks like some Revenants actually did, you know, aggravate one of the Cybers, and so one of them was actually shooting across the arena. I gotta get rid of these Lost Souls, because they're gonna be the death of me if I don't. Now, I think there's probably still a Pain Elemental roaming around here somewhere, and that's part of my problem. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my time here. I see a Lost Soul all the way over there on the other side. And that's the last Cyber, I believe. I don't think there are any more Cybers. And just so I don't have to redo this whole thing, we're gonna go ahead and save it. And this is the last moments. So I do have some cells, so I'm gonna go ahead and use these for these Revenants, and then I'll go ahead and just use rockets to finish them off. Just like so. Still have to watch out for that one roaming Lost Soul, though. I'm actually completely out of shells. So what I want to do is actually just go through this teleporter. The rockets will actually hit that side. They'll hit that wall. Now I can come back safely, flip this switch, and then I can go back and flip the other switch. And now we're going to run back this way, get rid of the last couple of Revenants. And basically what those switches did is they enable that this elevator right here. Ooh, that was risky. That was very risky. I shouldn't have done that. I should have, you know, say run back into this little cubby right here, which actually, look at that, more cells. And I think there still might be a box of cells here I had left from earlier. And actually, no, it looks like I picked it up when we were making our way over this way. But yeah, that is the strategy I've started to use on this section. We didn't die on it, which is great. Normally I die on this section. So what I'm going to do is actually, well, I can't load my game again because I just overrode it. But just look at this. This is just total chaos. And this is what sold me on Sunder. Just the craziness of this. There are some people out there that look at this and they say, oh, this is just brain dead nonsense. But if you want to get through this consistently, you have to have strategies that you have to go by. Otherwise, you are not going to survive this. Or if you do survive it, it's going to take you 50 tries to get through it. You know, if you just brute force your way through it. You need to have a strategy. You need to use, you know, you need to work with how enemies herd, how they move towards you, you know, on the map, and you know, instigating infighting and stuff like that, and targeting specific types of enemies. Like going for the pain elementals and arachnotrons right away after you've looped around once is great, because they can be the most problematic enemies in this section. So, but yeah, that is map 7, Hollow Icon from Sunder. It is a fantastic map. It's quite challenging, but once you get the strategies down, it's a lot of fun. And for those of you guys that are thinking about playing this, or maybe you have played it and like you don't do too well at it, hopefully you learned something from this Let's Play. For anyone curious, I do have a full live stream of the original 14 map version of Sunder. We're actually playing a later version that's been released more recently that has far more maps in it. It's still not fully complete. It's still not a full 32, but it is more than the original 14 map set. But if you want to see the original 14 maps in one sitting, I have a full like 11-hour live stream of it. So just look for Sunder on my channel. That'll pop right up. I'll try to be back with some more Sunder Let's Plays in the near future. But unless I can't crank out some other console-based Let's Plays, I might not be doing these you know, very frequently for the near future. I did quite a few in October, so this might be it for a little while, but still, regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you do enjoy this Doom type of content, definitely let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll end up doing more with some other WODs or something like that. But other than that, you know, I'm going to try to do some more console-based stuff. It's just October was really busy for me outside of YouTube, and so I wasn't able to crank out or practice for as many games I'm not familiar with as I wanted to. So I sort of fell back onto Sunder. Sunder I'm very familiar with, so I didn't really require a lot of practice to do these Let's Plays, which made my life easier, but not everyone's into this. So, but still, I hope you guys enjoyed it regardless, because it's just utter chaos. Like I said, map 7 is a great map, thousands of enemies, and it's just, even if, you know, it looks really hard to you, it should still be at least fun to watch, because there's so much going on. I think anyone could at least appreciate that. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I've got a lot of Let's Plays here like this, and many, many more to come. For those of you guys already subbed, thank you for your continued support. Hope you guys continue to enjoy getting these Let's Plays. And I guess until the next one, take it easy.